have had the craziest 24 hours. I know you guys think that when I locked my keys in my van that was crazy, but wait till I tell you this story. First of all, though, the motto is, check this out, all I need is Wi-Fi. That's Linda's t-shirt. I met up with her, and crazy, crazy, crazy. I am so glad to see her. Okay, so here's what happened. Robert, his communications with me yesterday stopped around noon. I mean, I couldn't, there were no phone calls, no text, no email, and no online activity from him. And so I wasn't really too worried. I mean, what the heck, right? No big deal. But then as the day went on, I couldn't reach my friend Linda or Bob, who he was camping with. And so I thought, well, something's wrong. And so around 5 o'clock, I had been wanting to head this way anyway, but I was going to wait until the early part of next week. But around 5 o'clock, I just couldn't shake the feeling that I needed to head out. And so I went by Walmart in Laramie, Wyoming, and got my supplies, and then headed toward the public lands outside of Walden, Colorado. That was about an hour-and-a-half drive for me, and I don't do campgrounds, try to find campgrounds after dark. So that was as far as I could make it last night. And again, wasn't too worried. I camped outside of the North Sandhills BLM land, and I figured that they might be sightseeing, or it could be even on a shoot with Bob. And the North Sandhills BLM, along my way getting there, a moose crossed in front of me. That's the first time that's ever happened. And the road was like 7-8 miles off the highway, and it was just pure washboard. But by that time, at that time of night, I didn't have any choice. But it was good enough for big rigs to get through, obviously. And there's a campground there that has about 13 sites. And you can go to Allstays or freecampsites.net and find out more about that. And it was a great place for me to hole up for the night. Here's a 360 of it. So by the time I got settled in and everything, I called Robert, still went straight to voicemail, and I called Linda, and I called again around midnight when I woke up, and I thought, okay, I'm getting up at the crack of dawn and heading out at the first light, and that's what I did, because I was still about 3.5 hours out. Bob and people are camped outside of Leadville, and that's where Robert and my friend Linda were. And I was worried, but I wasn't really worried. I mean, what are the odds of something happening to all three of them? And but not reaching them was just not acceptable and so unusual for the three of them. And Robert's car had been broken into before, and they had taken his laptop and his phone, and so he didn't have any way to reach people, and that's all I could think about. And I was like, oh, nobody broke into all three vehicles. But anyway, I wanted to get here, and I did, and clearly, because you saw me with Linda, and it was a pretty drive. I saw more moose, and here's some pretty footage that I want to share with you of the drive between Laramie, Wyoming, and not Laramie, Wyoming. I was parked outside of Walden, Colorado this morning. So between Walden and Leadville, you can tell I'm still a little rattled. I mean, but anyway, eyes on now, and it's all good. I got to Leadville, the last coordinates that Robert had given me for their camp took me to a subdivision. So I don't know what's up with that. It did it both, well, on my GPS, because I couldn't get signal anywhere in town. And finally I stopped at a store, and the clerk told me that somebody had severed a major optic cable and took out 3 towers, and that hardly anyone in town had cell phone signal, and that landlines were pretty much all that was working, and it was wreaking havoc even with people running credit cards and everything. So I felt bad for everyone, but I also couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. And so I didn't know how I was going to find them. I had camped here last year with Bob and Randy and Robert too, and other people. But you know, what am my memory, really? So I just pulled off the road in town and sat and thought for a little bit and tried to think of anything. And I remembered that there was a little that we could hike down the road to a little county park. And then on the other side of it, and while I'm filming this, something came in. Yay! I'm hearing from people. So the cell signal must be back up. I'm so happy. So that is a full 24 hours that Verizon was down. Unbelievable. But anyway, so I remembered that there was a little park. You could hike to it from where we had been camped and where we are now. And on the other side of you couldn't get to it from here without walking, because the roads to it were from the town side. And on the other side of that was a golf course. So I just started driving around, headed toward the mountains, because I remembered we were parked at the base of the mountains. And then finally I saw a sign that says golf course this way. So I just followed that sign and kept driving until things became familiar. And then I came to a 3-way split, and that is, I knew that was the road then, and that I was headed in the right direction. And then when I got to the road, the kiosk looked a mess. It didn't look like that last year, and the road was also much worse than I remembered, but I knew I was in the right spot. So I was relieved, and I kept going, and when I saw their camp, it was a sight for sore eyes, let me tell you. But I also am going to share with you guys that I found out, well, I got here, and Robert and Bob and another guy named Curtis, they're out on a video shoot somewhere, probably about 30 miles away, I was told. And so I haven't seen him and Bob yet, but I was told that that guy Curtis, who I haven't met yet, he has AT&T, and evidently the AT&T tower didn't go down. So I don't know whether to punch Bob and Robert when I see them for not using his phone and letting people know they were okay, or give them a hug. Well, and you know me, I'll be giving them a hug, but oh my gosh, what a 24 hours. But rain is coming in, so we'll be holed up here for a while, I'm sure, because I don't think the roads will be passable after it rains for a while. But when Bob and Robert get back, we'll be deferring to them on what they want to do. So that's my crazy story, and I'm camped here and looking forward to hanging out with some people, and I hope you enjoy this video. I'm still out here doing it by myself, camping with other people, but I got here by myself. Oh, and my key, it has saved me twice. So thank you again, everyone, for the idea. And people are asking about the vinegar thing. Yes, this is after the vinegar thing, and I didn't do it right, and so I'm learning how to do it, and it's working. But I'll keep you updated on that. We'll see you down the road, everybody. You like this? Huh? Is this good stuff? You like this sand, don't you? Huh? You like this sand, don't you? Yeah. It makes Nani happy. I'm sorry you have to be on leash. You gotta come back this way. Come on. Oh, good girl. You see? You're on leash, baby girl. I'm sorry. You're on leash. Crazy dog. Easy.